everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attacker Productions. Today I'm Bancroft and I'm giving you all another deck profile. And as you can tell by the thumbnail, it is set 15 Vegeta. And yes, this variant of this deck is the, I'm going to say quote-unquote, Taxgeta-esque. And I'll go more into that as I go through the profile. There's buttons on both of them, they're there for a reason. Before I go into the actual profile itself, I want to say this deck was very hard for me to build because it feels like it doesn't know what it wants to do. Like, it can either go super defensive and wide, or it can go into a more hand control route. And just trying to find a way of balancing those two was very interesting. And I think after playing this variant of the deck and playing the quote-unquote Taxgeta version, I don't mind it. But I definitely want to see a more red-green version of this deck, and I may end up going that route down the road when I want to go back to this. So let's go into the deck profile. King Vegeta itself. The leader on the auto on this leader is once per turn, and only during your opponent's turn. This makes this deck very hard to play against red decks, because they can just neg your stuff during your turn, so that way you don't benefit off these leaders' autos, which is kind of annoying. I feel like this leader should have just been once per turn in general, but once per turn, if it's your opponent's turn, when one of your battle cards is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill, your opponent chooses one card in their hand and discards it. So if they just find a way of doing it during your turn, yeah, okay. So like a lot of blue has good ways of just bouncing cards during your swing, such as they have the Unison Majin Buu out. They just -1 bottom deck it. They gain you gain no benefit from doing that. Activate battle. If your life is less than or equal to your opponent's, this card gains 5,000 power for the battle. So it's a nice little way of comboing or being able to get a 5,000 boost without having to do a combo. And then awaken if your life is 3 or less, or your opponent's leaders on the back is facing up. You may draw 2 cards, choose up to one of your opponent's Unison cards, and remove a marker from it. Then flip this card over. On the backside, you do lose the activate battle, which kind of sucks, but it's fine. When this card attacks, choose up to one of your opponent's Unison cards, remove a marker from it. Additionally, if your opponent doesn't have a Unison card in play, choose up to one green Great Ape card in your battle area, switch it to active mode, negate the skill for the turn. Negate its skills for turn. So like the 4-drop Vegeta Great Apes on auto, when they swing, your opponent has to discard a card. You don't get that on the second swing of that card. It does have an auto once per turn, where it's kind of similar on the front side. If it's your opponent's turn, when one of your battle cards is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill, draw 1 card, and your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and discards it. So, once again, I just don't like the fact that that's not an overall thing. It's only during your opponent's turn, because there are decks that have ways of just bouncing cards during your turn, and then your SOL. So, going into the deck itself, I want to keep it in somewhat theme of set 15. So, obviously, we're maintaining the 4 Vegeta Powerballs, which is the field card which could be played for free if you have a green Saiyan card in your leader area. Auto, once per turn, when one of your non-Great Ape Saiyan cards is KO'd by an attack, you may choose a Great Ape card that includes that color and character name of the KO'd card of an energy cost of 4 in your deck and play it in rest mode, then shuffle your deck. Then the auto at the end of your turn, choose up to 1 Great Ape card in your battle area, switch it to active mode. So that way you keep at least one of your Great Apes still going. All the Great Apes that came from the set, if I recall correctly, do have blocker. And if you don't see this card turn 1, we do also play 3 of the Vegeta Elite Resolve. It is unique. This card gains blocker if there is a field card in the battle area. When you play this card from your hand, you choose one of the 2 effects. Either A, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, add up to 1 green Saiyan card of energy cost of 3 or less among them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. Or choose up to 1 Vegeta Powerball in your deck and add it to your hand and shuffle your deck afterwards. So like I said, it gives you 7 ways of getting that field card to your hand, so that way you can play it for free. And I only play 4 of them because I want to see it. And it's also a good way of just using a charge target, because like I said, a lot of cards in your hand are very valuable, and being able to just go, cool, I don't need this anymore, charge it. I play 3 Vegeta prepping for invading. It is a unique blocker, which is also free to play if you have a field card on the field. So it's just another blocker. Both these do become blockers for your thing, so they go into the field card's ability. So when your opponent swings, you just say, okay, cool, no negate, blocker, and then you pay 1 for the field card's auto to play a Great Ape. And that Great Ape we do play is 4 of the Great Ape Vegeta. This particular one does have I think all of the grade apes from set 15 have the same auto. Limit 1 green energy when one of your green non-grade ape, and then it's like the chosen card, in this case Vegeta, with blocker is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill. You may play this card from your hand. So just if you have it in your hand, it's not a dead card in your hand. You could still play it off your battle cards being KO'd by skills. There is an auto once a turn when this card attacks. Your opponent chooses one card in your hand, discards, which is always great. And then activate main for 2 green energy. If a player has a field extra card in the battle area, it doesn't necessarily have to be you. You play this card from your hand. So for 2 energy, you can still play this card. So it's not a 4 cost for you. So just keep your field cards good for you. So that's the Vegeta package from set 15. And then I added in 2 of the 1-drop Nappas, which are blockers as well, but auto switches card to rest mode when your opponent uses a skill to play a battle card of energy cost greater than their current energy. They choose 1 card in their hand or one of their battle cards and place it in the owner's drop area. So if they're like, cool, I'm going to play this card, boom, like, while you play with a skill, I'm going to tap that. You can either KO that card you just played, or you get rid of a card in your hand. 2 of the 2-drop Nappas, which is a 15k crit. But the auto, when this, if your leader is Vegeta or Nappa card, when this card is played from your hand, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and discards it. So for 2 energy, you're getting rid of a card from their hand, and then when you swing on your opponent, it is a 15k crit. So depending on if they're on their front or back side, if they don't want to lose that life, they're going to have to combo cards from their hand, which kind of goes into that theme of hand control. And that is pretty much the cards from set 15 that I wanted to add to this deck, because like I said, it was very confusing on how to go over this correctly. And I'm sure there's a better build out there. If you have it, put it down below in the comments. Let me have a look at it. But going into the rest of the deck. So because the leader doesn't really draw, we had to play 4 tap outs. At least I chose to, because I like getting cards from my hand. Pay 1 green energy. You activate the top effect of this card, which draw 1 card, then play this card from your drop area at the end of your turn. It is a blocker. It's a 15k battle card, which isn't bad either. So if your opponent swings with a 10k and you're like, you know what, I don't want to take that damage, I'm just going to block, and then they have to combo cards if they want to kill the card. So, going with the green theme of the deck, 4 river ants. Pay 2 from your drop area and send this to your warp, and your opponent discards 2 cards. 2 EDKs, because you like to keep yourself alive and get rid of cards in your opponent's hands. And this one, you actually choose the card. 2 Majin Buu negates. It's like Topo. If you want to continue swinging at me, discard cards, please. And since we're on the idea of negates, 2 homicidal clones. If you're at 5 or less life, you can just take a life for the effect instead. Play a blocker, potentially stopping 2 attacks. Going down to a more self-awakened approach. 2 dormants. That may seem weird, but I mean, I got a lot of blockers that I'm okay with blocking with. Let's go into the Unisons now. 3 Bio Broly's. If this card were to be killed, I could pitch a card, I think. Choose 1 card in your hand, discard it. If this card be placed in the owner's drop area from your Unison area during your opponent's turn, play it from your drop area with 1 marker on it. And yeah, you can't play copies of this card for a turn. So, you do the +1, which allows you to pitch a card, ideal target, Rubian, to draw 1 card. So it helps you cycle cards and put cards in your drop that you don't need currently. If you get the -4 off, great. To activate main, choose 2 cards in your opponent's hand, discard them, and then this card gains 16,000 power and dual attack for the turn. The problem is that if your opponent still has cards in their hand, they have good cards or in blockers, that doesn't matter as much. They can just stop the attack, in my experience. And people typically just go after it. It's an easy use to attack, that way you don't have to worry about your life. So I say, cool, I'll pay 2 and negate with King Vegeta, kill the Bio Broly myself, and play a better Unison on the board with a 19k power instead. So, counterattack, Spirit Boost 1. Play this card with 3 markers on it. During your opponent's turn, if a Great Ape card is in play in your battle area, reduce the specific cost of this card in your hand by 1 green. +1. Activate main. Choose up to 1 card in your opponent's hand, or one of their battle cards ignoring barrier. Place in the owner's drop area. It's a great way of getting rid of either a key card on your opponent's board, or just reducing their hand size. -X, really great. Activate main. For each marker you remove using this skill, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So if they don't have barrier, you can potentially just -3 after playing this card and just kill 3 battle cards. Because we're playing Unisons, we gotta go with the free counterplays. We do play 4 because we want to use them as sacrifices for the Zamasu. Activate main for 1 energy, give 3 or more energy, choose 1 green battle card. Choose green battle cards in your battle area with 5,000 power or more, with a total energy cost of 5. Place them in your drop area, play this card from your hand. When this card attacks, your opponent discards a card. So, I mean, it just goes into the theme of just, I'm going to swing, you're going to pitch a card. If we're going for protection a little bit more, we play 4 super combos, but I chose to go with the Paragus because the hand typically likes to stay small in this deck. So I like to draw 2 first, and then just warp a card I don't need. For in-game, 1 boo. If I get the 5 energy, which typically happens a lot with this deck, you play this card, it does completely say F the board. Your opponent, while this card's in rest mode, your opponent can't attack your leader card unless they choose 2 cards in their hand and discard them each time. And like I said, when you play this, it does wipe the board. It does have revenge, so once you play it, you swing with it. Your opponent has to swing into it. If they have battle cards and it's 30, it's 30k. So if like they can't beat it, they're gonna lose their card. Also, auto, if you have 5 or more energy, if this card's placed in your drop area from the battle by an opponent's skill, play this card from your drop area. So it just replays itself, but it's in active mode. So, and the last card, Weakest Saiyans. I mean, why not? Permanent, this card is removed from your battle area, but you just remove it from game. Permanent, if your opponent has 2 or more energy and your leader card is green, yellow, or shares one of these characters, which my leader is green, it gains dual attack and blocker. And then auto for 2 energy at the end of the battle, which this card is used in a combo from your hand. Your opponent may choose 4 cards, switch them to rest mode. If they do, remove this card from the drop area from game. If they don't, you play this card, you rip 2 cards from your opponent's hands. It's a 0-10,000 combo card. It is beautiful. That is the deck list, but hey, we did it in the best of 3, which hand control best of 3 is never a smart idea. So here's my tech options for the sideboard. Additional dormant potential, in case we need it. A Kakunsa, in case we want to get rid of a problem card. An Iron Majin Buu, in case we need to go against wide decks. Because we play a field card, I put in 1 Golden Frieza, which is really great. Deflect, double strike. Its energy cost is reduced by 1 for every 2 green extra cards in your battle area and drop area. And then activate main, choose 1 green extra card with an energy cost of 2 or less, and the field skill in your battle area, place in the owner's drop area, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards. Choose up to 1 card in your opponent's hand and up to 1 of their battle cards ignoring barrier, place in the owner's drop area, switch this card active. So it's like a dual attack, double strike, which is pretty great. So a lot of times people are like, oh, you're playing hand control? We're going to put DBS in our deck, and then when you make me get rid of cards, I'm going to go, haha. I say haha back with Black Mass Saiyan. When you try to play a card using a non-keyword skill, you have to choose 2 cards in your hand and place them in the drop area. But don't worry, I don't like hand control either, so I play Ritual at Hand. So if you try to topo me or Majin Buu or whatever, I'll just continue swinging and pitch those cards instead. 2 counterplays, Coolers, because it's great and it's 1 energy during my opponent's turn, and it's a battle card for me to swing with. Also, when this card's played, your opponent has 8 or more cards in their hand. You may choose 1 card in their hand, discard in case they, like I said, they tried to counter the hand control. If I'm playing against blue and they want to be cheeky about it, 1 Jiren. An overwhelm target, in case, like I said, boards go wide. And because red decks are stupid and they have rival targets, Kakunsa. That way they can't, if they want to play battle cards in my turn to punish me, I would just say, okay, cool. Choose 2 cards in your hand and warp them if it's 20,000 power or less. So, that's the sideboard that I took to my locals this past weekend using the quote-unquote Taxgeta build. Hope you all enjoyed. Keep in mind, there's buttons down below. Feel free to click them. Read your cards, know your plays, and like always, fluff out.